Hey guys, it's Jim Warrior, and I thought I would just share a quick little spell ritual thing to work with Merfolk. I'll probably make another video soon about my relationship with Mer, like I did with my relationship with elves. But I thought that I would just go ahead and show you a way that I work with Merfolk to kind of spur your own creativity and imagination. And feel free to comment away in the bottom, in the links below. So, I know a lot of people when they work with spirits and they work with gods and stuff like that, they always feel like they have to have some kind of representation of the being that they're going to work with them in their circle or their in their quarters or whatever. Um, and that's not always true. It's not true for all of us, I'm sure. Anyway, but a lot of us do like to have that visual aid. So I have a really beautiful mermaid statue. It was really cheap, actually. Really cheap. And I've just put little pieces of things that I've found that I associate with Merfolk on it, like a star and this necklace, draped it over her. I really want to get my hands on a male one soon, a merman. But I don't want a big bearded, kind of Poseidon-y, Triton-looking one, I want like a sexy, youthful merman. But I'm having a hard time finding one. But yeah, I have this. Although I should have brought it for you. Actually, I'm gonna get it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I wanted to get you this just to show you that you don't have to have anything elaborate like that. I just have a really small toy mermaid. She's just plastic. She's not fancy at all. Like at all. If I can move her around and show you. So she's just really simple plastic little toy. And she's really beautiful though. I like how long her hair is and how it sweeps down to her tail. And then I have a tea light that I got that is a clamshell. And much in the vein of the birth of Aphrodite or Venus, I just set her in it. And I work with that sometimes too. Just, as my representation. Oh, she fell over. She's got a concussion. But yeah, doesn't have to be fancy. You don't even have to have anything like that. You can always work with, spirits in the abstract too. Like I could just lay out this coral necklace. You could just lay out a shell, a bowl of water, whatever feels right to you. Or you don't have to have representation. But I do like to have a representation, and so I usually use one of those. Also, when I'm working with Merfolk, I usually like to have a light, like a lantern, like this. This was really cheap. I got it at the Dollar Tree for $1. And it looks really cool in the dark. I like having lanterns when I'm working with Merfolk because most of the time when I'm working with Merfolk, they always want me to work in the dark. Like the physical dark. I always get the calling of come down into the depths of the ocean with us where there is no light. So I always need the light. It's something kind of for me to like bring myself back to at the end of the ritual or the spell or the meditation or whatever, the guided journey. It's kind of my focal point to bring me back. So I like having a light. You can use a physical light too, but I just find that lanterns are so mystical to me. They're so mystical, so magical, so esoteric, so alluring. There's just something otherworldly about a lantern to me. And this isn't even a real lantern, like in the terms of like real fire. That's obviously a flameless LED candle. And I really like it. So I like to have that. And then, of course, a working space. And I don't like to use my traditional working space, like my altar or anything like that, for the merfolk. I don't like having a set place to go and worship the mer, which is why I'm making this video just right by my couch. Because I think to have a focused place for me, to work with the mer is to constrict the merfolk. And that goes against what the merfolk are. They're water elementals. They're constantly changing, and they're very nomadic in my experience. They don't settle down in fancy underwater kingdoms. At least the mer that I work with. They are nomadic. So I have a small moving, set of items that I can move around wherever I want to work with them. Even if I want to go outdoors by a real body of water, I can. But I have a glass cauldron. Let me try to make it presentable for you. And I recently purchased this, and I love it. But I've already used it to work with a myrrh, and it's just perfect. I find glass, along with lanterns, I find glass to be something that is just so merfolk to me, so merfolkian. I just love glass. I think that the myrrh love glass. And I can't explain why. I think it's just because something in it. I just think that it's inherently mystical and magical and different to them. It's something from the surface that they're just obsessed with, you know? They're also obsessed with jewelry and lots of sparkly items, which we'll get to right now. I like having sparkly things for them. So I had set a toy star, like a piece of jewelry, kind of little toy jewelry star, on my mermaid statue and that necklace of shells. And I also have, several, I've showed these before. I have lots of gems. Not crystals. I don't really work with crystals too much. I work with gemstones, like polished gems. That's just me. That's why I'm Gem Warrior. But I like to give those kind of as an offering, and I have all manner of colors and shapes. And I like to just give those in there. And here's a big fancy one that I sometimes use as well. But usually I'll keep this on me to kind of use as like a bartering tool, because the myrrh don't always give up their teachings very easily. You really have to establish a relationship with the myrrh. And even then, sometimes they're very much about barter and trade. They're like, well, yeah, I will teach you this healing ritual. Or, yes, I'll help you deal with your childhood trauma. But what am I going to get in return? Like, they're not just all giving, endlessly giving gods or goddesses, They're spirits that are lower on the totem pole, and they want to trade, and they want something in return for what they're doing. They're not completely selfless in that sense. So I like to always have something else to kind of trade with them and be like, well, here, do you want this? And sometimes it'll be food, sometimes it'll be liquids, jewelry, toys, all sorts of things. But usually something that I do give them, I don't take it back afterwards. Like if I were to give this to a mer person in a vision, I wouldn't come out of the vision and then keep this. I would go and toss it into a body of water and give it to them. I wouldn't just take it back and then use it again later to give to someone else. That's just rude. I also like to have a mermaid's purse, which, if you're familiar, is actually a term that's sometimes used to describe the vagina. But I like to have a purse. This one was given to me by a really good friend. It's really pretty. It was handcrafted. She got it from a site called She Sings, like the She Sings, and it tells you the actual person who crafted it at She Sings, which is really neat. But it's really beautiful. Look at that. These are real, not plastic. It's gorgeous. It's got a magnetic clasp. Anyway, I kind of use it like a gris bag or a mojo bag, if you're familiar with those in Voodoo and Hoodoo, which I did make a video about as well. I like to kind of use this as a manifesting bag for my merfolk. Like, things that I want the myrrh to help me find, to help attract to me, I'll put in there. So I put a lot of gems to represent money, but also to represent different emotions. Like the different colors make me think of different emotions. So red for compassion, blue for confidence, green for peace, and white for like the warrior spirit, the not letting things get to me. And then I have a small bead piece of jewelry that fell off of a necklace, or actually it was an anklet that I had. And it is, this is tiger's eye. I put that in there because it's just so different, I think. And I always like to put in something that's completely unrelated to merfolk and very much of the land, because I think the merfolk love that. And I also have an earring, a very tacky earring, if I might say so myself. It's a shamrock, and it's glittery. But I put that in there as well. And I have this, which I bought when I was like 15, the first magical item I ever purchased. I considered it magical. And it was a necklace Chard. Um, and that's my symbol. I'm a Cancer, so my moon sign is Cancer. Or, excuse me, my sun sign is Cancer, and my moon is Virgo, with a rising in Taurus. But no, my moon is Virgo, but my sun sign is Cancer, and it's a water sign, so I have that in there. But sometimes I will carry this with me when I'm doing a ritual. Like I'll put it on, and I may have things like my bartering tool, placed in it as well. Just so I can always have things on me. And sometimes in the vision, I will get energies from them or tools and items, and I'll have them place it in the bag for me. And usually when I come back to self, come back to this physical world, of course there's no item sitting in the bag waiting for me. Wouldn't that be cool though? But I'll usually immediately try to create something, a physical item that reminds me of the gift that I was given. That way I actually put it to use and I don't just forget it. Because I mean, how insulting would that be? But I do like to always have a bag on me when I'm going to journey into their watery realm. In my mind, or whatever you want to say it is. Or if my spirit really leaves and goes to another dimension. Who knows? But, yes, I like to do that. But usually when I'm starting out, this is all over the place, but you guys know how I talk. When I'm starting out, I kind of like to lay the groundwork for what I'm going to do. So, I'll cast a circle usually, but only inviting the water element usually. So I'll cast a circle in water, and then I'll get some kind of device, like some kind of cup, in this case a glass cauldron. I just love it so much. I'll put some gems on the bottom, something for them as an offering. I will take some water, if I can pour this, and it just spilled everywhere. But I'll get some water. This is just plain water, purified water. The discretion is up to you on how much to use. I'm going to use this entire little jar. I don't know what to call this. Bottle. I was funneling it in there so I'd have enough. I can measure it correctly. So I'll just pour that in there. And then I like to give a lot of offerings to the myrrh. I'm very generous with the myrrh just because they give more back if you are. But I'll usually give them some kind of, again, something from the land that they wouldn't have access to in the water. So this is a dried flower pod. This was rose. And it has a hollowed out spot in the pod that I'm going to add some essential oil to. And again, something that they couldn't find in the water as an offering. This is dragon's breath oil, which I got from magicalcat.com. So I'll give a generous helping of that. And then I'll just place it in there. And it's nice because it kind of floats like a little boat before eventually sinking. And then I usually like to give a little salt because they are oceanic spirits, not river spirits. Although maybe I'll make a video about river. Not really river myrrh. They're very different, but river spirits. Anyway, I'll add a little salt. This is not sea salt, actually. This is, you could use sea salt. That'd be more appropriate. This is kosher salt, which is still actually sea salt. It's just been made kosher by a rabbi. So I'll add that. And then I'll just give it a little stir. Because who doesn't like to stir their cauldron, right? I mean, that's something that we saw and learned as very young children, right? Whew. I can really sense the energy coming off of this now. This is just a, you know how you do a ritual over and over and it just gains power for you. This very much is. I'm starting to feel a little transported. If I start acting loopy, you know why. So, I'll do that. And as you see, it's turned a really beautiful pink color. The rose pot is diffusing in the water and changing the water. I'm basically making rose-infused water now. It smells so good. And it's really pretty. I wish I could, like, just tip it over and show you, like, you know? But, I like it. I like it. I like it. So then, usually from here, I'll turn out the lights. and I'll have my lantern, and I will invoke the merfolk through whatever I'm using to represent them. So I would lay it in front of me. Let me bring the camera around and show you. You're going to get to see part of my living room. But yes, see, it's very simple. I just lay all this out. Can you see that? Lay this out. And that's it. I mean, it's such a simple setup, you guys. It's just really 3 items, 3 things that are sitting here. And I work from that. Wearing the mermaid's purse. I work from that. And I like it. Once you turn out the lights and you're sitting with this lantern just glowing by this cauldron, with all of the really good smells coming off of it and the light reflecting off of the little gems in there, it becomes incredibly powerful. Suddenly I'm transported to the bottom of the ocean, and there are merfolk all around me, welcoming me, letting me swim with them, teaching me things, you know? But it's just a really simple way to kind of get into the groove with a spirit. You can see how you could take this as a template and work it with a lot of other spirits. Like, switch up some of the items that you throw in this cauldron. Maybe throw a statue or picture of an elf in front of you, and you're working with the elves. Maybe instead of water, throw in a little dirt with some gems in it, and you could work with dwarves. It's really simple. It's just a really simple little way that I like to work with spirits. You're giving a little offering. You're making everything aesthetically pleasing to you and the spirit, and you've opened that path, that gateway, and you've said, "Hey, let me learn from you. I'll give you things in return." I think that's so important when working with spirits. You're not just like, teach me things, give to me, give to me. Always think about how you can give back to a spirit, even if it's something really that you would think is very simple, like toys and plastic toys. Just little toys, candies, juices, essential oils, flowers. I think you'd be surprised how much that gods and goddesses and spirits will give back when you give forward. That's it, you guys. I hope this was interesting. I hope it helped a little bit. I hope it wasn't just like, Jim, what are you doing? But that's it. Namaste and Ashe. And peace out, Girl Scouts.